watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. Let's get straight to our top story today. India has reported 3.06 lakh new COVID cases and 439 deaths in the last 24 hours. The caseload is 8% lower than what was reported a day before. According to the Health Ministry, India's active caseload is currently at over 22 lakh, and the positivity rate has actually gone a little higher from over 17% to 20.75%. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has also crossed 162.26 crore doses. Now, these are state numbers that I'm going to tell you. Kerala, for instance, has reported 26,540 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. Delhi has reported 5,760 new COVID cases. The daily positivity rate has dipped to 11.8%. Mumbai has reported 1,857 new COVID cases. That's slightly lower than what was reported yesterday. In the meantime, Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai has, as of today, said that the decision to further ease COVID-19 restrictions in the state will be taken after analysing the pandemic situation in the state. The state government had, if you remember, recently lifted the weekend curfew but kept the restrictions from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. in place. In the meantime, the Indian SARS-CoV-2 Genomics Consortium, also called as INSACOG, has said that Omicron COVID variant is now in community transmission in India, and has become dominant in multiple metros where new COVID cases are now being reported. Now, INSACOG went on to say that while most Omicron cases so far have been asymptomatic or mild, hospitalizations and ICU cases have been increasing in the current wave. In the meantime, the head of the WHO on Monday has said that it would be dangerous to assume that the highly transmissible Omicron was the last variant to emerge and that the world was in the endgame of the pandemic. At a press conference, Dr. Tedros said, and I quote, "The COVID-19 pandemic is now entering its third year and we are at a critical juncture. We must work together to bring the acute phase of the pandemic to an end. We cannot let it continue to drag on, lurching between panic and neglect," end quote. Now, to achieve this, he said that countries must aim to vaccinate at least 70% of the population with a focus on high priority groups, which include older adults, healthcare workers, and vulnerable individuals. Now, according to AFP, WHO Europe Director Hans Klug on Sunday has said that the Omicron variant has moved the COVID-19 pandemic into a new phase and could bring it to an end in Europe. Now, in an interview with AFP, he said, and I quote, "It's plausible that the region is moving towards a kind of pandemic endgame. Once the current surge of Omicron currently sweeping across Europe subsides, there will be for quite some weeks and months a global immunity, either thanks to the vaccine or because people have immunity due to the infection and also lowering seasonality. We anticipate that there will be a period of quiet before COVID-19 may come back towards the end of the year, but not necessarily the pandemic coming back," end quote. Let's also now tell you what else is making headlines across the country. According to a senior official from the Indian Meteorological Department, the cold wave will intensify in Delhi after January 26th. According to the weather agency, cold wave conditions are likely in Delhi, Haryana, Chandigarh, Punjab, and Rajasthan from January 25th to 28th. Senior scientist R.K. Janamani told NDTV, and I quote, "There is no rain predicted in Delhi, Punjab and Haryana till February 2nd. The western disturbance has moved further east. In these areas, the temperature will remain around 15 to 17 degrees Celsius. Cold wave will intensify in Delhi after 26th of January, end quote. Also in the news, a court in Delhi today has framed charges against JNU student Sharjeel Imam over his alleged inflammatory speeches at Aligarh Muslim University and in Delhi's Jamia area against the Citizenship Amendment Act. Now, he's been charged under multiple IPC sections, including sedition, promoting enmity between groups, and Section 13 of the UAPA, or the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Now, the FIR against him was registered on the 25th of January 2020 under several sections with regards to the speeches that he made on the 13th of December 2019. Moving on now, the Congress has today appealed to Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray to stop the upcoming telecast of the movie Why I Killed Gandhi on the 30th of January, saying that it will strengthen racist tendencies. Now, in a letter to Chief Minister Thackeray, Maharashtra Congress Chief Nana Patole has said, and I quote, "On one hand, Gandhiji's death anniversary is observed for non-violence and peace. On the other hand, Why I Killed Gandhi is being released. This will give strength to racist tendencies. The Indian culture has always opposed inhuman acts. This is why this movie should not be released in states' theatres and OTT platforms," end quote. In the meantime, NCP chief Sharad Pawar had earlier supported NCP MP and actor Amol Kale, saying that his decision to act in this movie should be seen as an artist's choice. Moving on to some politics now, another Samajwadi Party leader, Subhash Rai, has joined the BJP in Delhi as of today in the presence of Uttar Pradesh Deputy CMs Keshav Prasad Maurya and Dinesh Sharma ahead of the UP Assembly polls. Now, Rai is an MLA from the Jalalpur constituency. This comes after SP founder Mulayam Singh Yadav's daughter-in-law, Aparna Yadav, joined BJP. So far, Mulayam Singh Yadav's brother-in-law and former Samajwadi Party MLA Pramod Gupta and Mulayam Singh Yadav's daughter-in-law Aparna Yadav have also joined the BJP. So there have been deflections both from the BJP to the SP and from the SP to the BJP as well. Around 3 ministers and 8 MLAs have so far joined the SP from the BJP. Also, the BJP as of today has announced its seat sharing formula with the two allies in Punjab, saying the campaign for the 20th of February Assembly polls will focus on, and I quote, stability, security, and change to secure the future of Punjab and its people, end quote. Now, BJP will contest the majority 65 seats in the election to the 117 member assembly. The Punjab Lok Congress, led by former Chief Minister Amarinder Singh, will fight from 37 constituencies. Moving on to business news at this point, panic selling continued for the 5th straight trading session. The Sensex crashed nearly 2,000 points during the day, hitting the low at 56,984 and ending the day 2.6% lower. The Nifty 50 also closed at below 17,149. Now, this comes after there have been reports that the US Fed may increase interest rates tomorrow. This also comes amid geopolitical tensions about the possibility of Russia invading Ukraine and surging global crude oil prices. Meanwhile, according to a survey conducted by People's Research on India's consumer economy, in a trend unprecedented since economic liberalization, the annual income of the poorest 20% of India's household has plunged 53% in the pandemic year 2020-21 from their levels in 2015-16. In contrast, this Mumbai's think tank has said that in the same 5-year period, the richest 20% saw their annual income, household income, grow 39%, and that's how they've reflected the sharp contrast and inequality between the rich and the poor. On to news coming in from across the world at this point. Amid fears of a Russian invasion of Ukraine, NATO is reinforcing its eastern borders with land, sea and air forces. That is bringing in more ships and fighter jets. Now, the Military Alliance's Secretary General said that the deteriorating security situation has led NATO allies to ready fighter jets and troops for their collective defense. Now, Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister has condemned the NATO deployment, saying the military alliance was demonizing Russia in order to justify military activity on NATO's eastern flank. Also in the news, the UK and the US are withdrawing diplomats' families from Ukraine, but the EU has said that dependents will stay put as of now. The US Embassy on Sunday said in a statement, and I quote, "Military action by Russia could come at any time. Officials will not be in a position to evacuate American citizens in such a contingency, so US citizens currently present in Ukraine should plan accordingly." End quote. Now, also, the UK government on Saturday accused the Russian government of planning to install a pro-Russia leader in Ukraine's capital city, Kyiv. Now, a UK foreign secretary has said, and I quote, "Russia must de-escalate, end its campaigns of aggression and disinformation, and pursue a path of diplomacy." End quote. Now, the British Foreign Ministry did not provide evidence to back its accusations. On the other hand, Russia maintains that it has no plans to invade Ukraine, dismissing the accusation as disinformation. Now, taking to social media, Russian Foreign Ministry has said, and they've dismissed London's claims as disinformation, and they've urged London to, and I quote, "stop spreading nonsense." End quote. Also in the news on Sunday, Taiwan's defense ministry has reported China Air Force's largest incursion since October in its air defense zone. Now, according to Taiwan ministry, the latest Chinese mission included 34 fighters plus 4 electronic warfare aircraft and a single bomber. On to some sports news right now. PV Sindhu defeated Malvika Bansod 21-13, 21-16 to win the gold medal in the women's singles event at the Syed Modi India International 2022. Now, this is also Sindhu's second Syed Modi India International title, and she had earlier won BWF World Tour Super 300 event in 2017. One more piece of positive news and also sports news for you. India women batter Smriti Mandhana has been named ICC Women's Cricketer of the Year for 2021. This is the second time she's winning the award after 2018. The 25-year-old scored 855 runs in 22 international matches in 2021 at an average of 38.86 with 1 century and 5 half century. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.